Schoology number 10. A line is graphed on the coordinate plane below. Which linear equation can be used to represent a line perpendicular to the line passing through the point 3, 5? So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to graph the point 3, 5. And in a point we go xy, so that means sideways 3, and up 5. So we want it to go through this dot right here. We also need it to go through this line right here. So what that means is that our line should look like this. And when we have vertical and horizontal, we are going to remember our Bucks Hoy. And the line that I have right here in this green is the one that I want to make, and that line is going up and down is vertical. So that means it's a vertical line that has an undefined slope, and we're going to begin our equation with x equals. So what that means is it can't be that one, and it can't be that one. And then in our point, if it's x equals, we need to find what x equals, and x equals 3. So there's your answer. If you would like to type that in on Desmos just to check yourself, you are welcome to do that. And you can see that that is, in fact, the line that we have. You can also check it this way. Number 11, the graph of the linear function is shown on the grid. All right, so if you have a PDF copy of this printed out, this graph is actually not correct. We're going to put the correct graph on there, and it should look like this one down here. So if you have paper, I'm going to show you how to fix that. What we want to try to do is we want to copy this point right here, which is your x value of 6, your y value of a -1. And then let's go see if we can find another good dot. And here it is right here. That is a x value of 3 and a y value of -6. Let's go take those and let's put on the paper, if you have the paper copy, to make that adjustment. And 6 would be out here, and then your -1 would be about here, and then +3, -6, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have to go a little bit below to make that 6, and then you're going to connect your dots. And I'm going to change color so it doesn't blend in as much. So it's going to look like, ooh, that's terrible. Let's do that one more time and see if we can get it to work. Maybe not. Okay, let's try that. There we go. So your line should look like this, not this one. It should be this one. Okay, and that's the one that we have on Schoology, so if you're just looking at Schoology, you should be fine. But that's what it would look like on your worksheet. So I'm going to now zoom into the Schoology version so that we have that and we can look at the question. Which equation is best represented by this graph? So this would be awesome if we could type all of these answer choices in, but you cannot type them in the way that they are because it does not say y equals. So what we want to do is we want to try to get them all to say y equals. So in order to do that, we need to move what is next to the y. How do we move a -6 plus 6? And we're going to do that on both sides of our equal sign. So these zero out, and then whenever you type this in, it would say y equals 3/5 x plus 3, and then you would add your 6 onto the end. And so whatever, as I start doing the next ones, I'm just going to write it in line so I don't have to rewrite everything. How do we get rid of a +6? We're going to do a -6. And so these will zero out, and then you can type in, again, y equals, and then the whole rest of the line right there. And the next one, how do we get rid of a -6? We're going to do +6, and these zero out. And so we have our y equals, and then we have the whole rest of the line. And then the same thing on this last question. We're going to do a -6 so that these zero out. And again, we have our y equals and the whole rest of the line. Now to speed things up a little bit, that is what I have done. And whenever we go on to our Desmos, we're going to type those in, and we're going to be looking for the ones that go through the same good dots, the dots that go through the corners of the squares, 6, -1, and 3, -6. All right, and I'm going to type those in so that I can see it, so I don't have to keep looking. 6, -1, and 3, comma, negative 6. All right, so I need to push, pull, and drag, and I have also changed my settings to try to count by ones, if at all possible, by changing the steps to ones and removing those minor grid lines. All right, there they are. The purple line goes through both of my points on Desmos. So the purple line is this one right here. The y equals 5 over 3. So 5/3 is your slope, and then we had that negative 3 in the parentheses. When you go back to your Notability and you look, also I put them in the same order, so it should be the fourth one down. So like answer choice D. So let's check. This was it. And let's double check. Now what I actually want to do is I actually kind of want to back this up a little bit and talk about how we could do that without typing everything in. This is the original question. Remember that when you do the formula, it says y minus y1 equals m, parentheses x minus x1. So right here, the minus is a part of the equation, the formula, but the number right here is the x1. So that means that the point would be a 3. And again, not the minus, just that 3. And then in this first part, something weird kind of happens. We need a minus right here, and there's not one, so I can break that plus sign apart to be subtracting a negative, so that we would have a minus that would match the formula. And then in this section, the negative 6 would match. So your y value would be a negative 6. And if you noticed in the question, that's this dot right here. And then you can also count your slope, your m value, a rise of 5, and a run of 3. So if we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, we end up on our line with our slope of 5/3. So you could also, if you know how to break apart those points and find the slope, do it that way as well. That was question number 11 on school. Several students performed an experiment by dropping marbles of uniform size into a jar of water. They measured the height of the water after every 5 marbles. The results are listed in the table below. So here we have our number of marbles and the height of the water. The best thing to do anytime you see a table is go type it in. Remember, you do that by hitting the plus sign. Which function best represents the problem situation? So it looks like it's going to be a line of best fit. So we want to try to put a line through this. And that's what these are right here. These are all lines. So we want to find which one of these best fits our line. So you can put your dots, and then you can go type in all of these, or we can make sure that we ask Desmos to do a line for us. So what I'm going to do is I already have the table typed in for you, and so I'm going to ask Desmos y1 worm, and then I need to put mx1 plus b to finish it out. And down here it tells me my m is 0.4 and my b is 4.5. So whenever I go look at my answer choices, I'm going to look for those, and here it is. This is what I want right here. And so that's going to be my answer. Now let's see how we get this 56 marbles. So it says, and approximate the number of marbles it will take for the water to reach a height of 27 inches. So where will the 27 inches go? 27 inches is talking about the height. So should it go here or on the other column? And the answer is that it goes in the one that says height of the water. So I want a 27 in that y column. Remember, this is x and this is y. So what I can do when I go back to my Desmos is I can tell Desmos, it sure would be awesome if we had column, oh, that's not a y, there we go, y equals 27. And if you'll notice, we have to push, pull, and drag our screen until we see both of our lines. Then we find where we cross and we tap. And that's where the 56 comes from. The answer says 56.25. And so that is going to be about 56. And that's where that 56 comes from. There is your answer. And that was Schoology. Number 12. A set of weights includes a 5-pound barbell and 7 pairs of weight plates. Each pair of plates weighs 30 pounds. If X pairs of plates are added to the barbell, the total weight of the barbell and plates in pounds can be represented by f of x equals 30x plus 5. What is the range of the function for this situation? All right, there's a lot of words going on, so we need to separate out what we need and organize our information. Okay, so first off, it's giving you an equation. You should go type that in so that you can see what's going on. The second thing that I notice is it tells you that X is the pairs of plates. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a table. And above X, I'm going to put pairs of, oh, you can't see that. Let's fix that because that does not look like pairs. So we have P-A-I-R-S, oh, much better, of plates. And they come in pairs because one goes on one side of the barbell, it's this guy, and then the other one matches, right? Otherwise, you're uneven. And then it says the total weight of the barbells can be represented by the f of x. So that means this is the total weight. Remember that f of x is a fancy way to say y equals. All right, so now what it's starting to say is that we have 7 pairs of plates. So it's going to end up going all the way up to a 7, okay? And it's saying the barbell by itself, which is just the bar, is 5 pounds. Now, I'm not going to put any other numbers in there because I want to actually go type it in and show you what happens. And I also want to point out that this word is super important, range. So for Dr. X, Y, when we're talking about range, we're talking about our Y numbers. So we need the numbers that are in the Y column. So I'm going to go type it in. You should pause the video and do the same. And then we're going to go look at our Y values. All right, there it is. So where can I go get a list of Y values? I can change this to a table. And it's going to put all those in there. Do we have negative pairs of plates? No. So I'm going to get rid of that one. And I'm also going to get rid of this one. Can we have 0 pairs of plates? Yes, 0 is just the barbell, okay? There's no weights on the outside, and that's where that 5 comes from, and that's what the word problem said. It said it includes a 5-pound barbell. So that's just the bar. All right, so then I want to get up to 7 in this case, and now I'm going to look at the f of x column. So the numbers that are listed there are going to be the numbers that I want. Now it is not going to be an inequality where we have every number from 5 up to 125. It's only going to be these dots. Even though the picture that we have, and I'm going to zoom in so that I can squash my axis a little bit here. So even though the line looks to be solid, that's just a representation of our equation. Not every piece of that line is happening. So when we have 1 pair of plates, okay, 1 on each side, that means that we're lifting a total of 35 pounds. Then we put another pair of plates on, and that means we're lifting a total of 65 pounds. Nothing is happening between the 1 and the 2 pairs of plates. It's either 1 or it's 2. We're not putting on 1 1/4 or 1 and a whatever of a plate. So that is why our answer is looking like discrete data. So we're going to pick the one right here that had all of those Y values